Chimp can be used for triggering scripts, commands, and macros. So, for example, let's go in Modo. I'm in the Modeling tab, and I'm going to hold Shift and click on the cylinder to create a unit cylinder. And now I'm going to hold Shift and Tab to convert it into P-sub. In Edge mode, I'm going to select this top edge of the cylinder, which is currently, as you can see, sort of rounded. Now, I use a lot of scripts in my work in Modo, many of them created by the Modo community. And for example, we're going to be using this Edge Weight Tools for this case, which is created by Seneca Menard. You can see he's created a ton of really useful scripts for Modo, and you can find them at indigosum.com. So with that script downloaded and installed in Modo's scripts folders, I'm going to come down into the Modo command box. So we'll start by entering the @ symbol, which tells it that I'm going to be using a script, and I'm going to type edge weight _95.pl, and when we hit enter, you can see that it's weighted this edge to 95%. Now, if I wanted to remove the weighting, I could type @edge weight _reset.pl, and that runs Seneca's edge weight reset script. So you can see it's now rounded again. Now, we could map these types of scripts to keys on our computer keyboard, but most of the quick keys are already used up by Modo's default keyboard mapping, and there's virtually nothing left. So unless you want to overwrite some of the existing default functionality with your scripts and commands, then we need to find another way. And a great way to do that is using Chimp. And even if we were to start overwriting things on our keyboard, with so many scripts that we can use, we're inevitably going to run out. So you can see over here on my phone, I've created my own Touch Osc interface. Now this is a very simple example. I've only created 2 buttons, but you can create buttons and sliders and whatever type of controls you want, and you can have multiple pages of these controls. So we could have virtually an unlimited number of buttons, arranged however you want and designed however you'd like. To find out more about how to do that, go and watch the OSC video from the Chimp's tutorials page. So here in Chimp, I'm going to press the Auto Add button, and I'll just touch each of these buttons on my custom Touch Osc interface on the phone. Now I'll disable Auto Add, and I'll select this first channel in the list. Now for the output type, I'm going to change it to Modo command. And here in the Modo command, we could either type a command in if we know the script or command we want to run, or you can go to this drop down and it'll show you the most recent scripts that have been run in Modo. So for example, this edge weight 95 is what I want to assign to this first button. Now I'll select the second channel, and again for the output type, we'll change it to Modo command. From the drop down, I'll choose edge weight reset. And that's all we have to do. And in fact, once you've got this set up, we don't need to have Chimp showing at all. So I'm going to maximize Modo. You know, Chimp can be minimized or in the background. And now, when I press the edge weight 95 button, you can see that weights that edge. So let's come down here, we'll select another edge, press the button. Right away, we get exactly what we want. We get it weighted. If I wanted to remove the weighting, I can just press edge weight reset. So as you can see, it's a really fast way to trigger whatever scripts you want from a customized interface. For this next example, we'll be using the Akai APC Mini MIDI device. Now, devices like this have lots of buttons and things like slider controls that can be assigned to Modo commands, scripts, and macros. You could also follow along, though, using a Touch OSC type interface, like we saw in the first half of this tutorial, or any other MIDI device or game controller that you might wish to use. So in Chimp, let's click the Auto Add button, and I'll press a couple of the buttons on the APC and we'll move a slider. I'll click the Auto Add button again to stop learning. We'll select the first channel and I'll just reveal the sidebar. In the sidebar, I'll set the output type to Modo command. Now in this case, we won't be using a script, so I'm going to have to figure out what the Modo command is that I want to trigger. Over in Modo, I have the chicken LXO scene loaded, and you can find this scene in the zip file that accompanies this video tutorial. And over here in Modo's command line, just above it, there's a little line, and if you hover over it, click and drag up, you can reveal the command history. Make sure you're on this actual history tab to see it. So let's go ahead and switch our 3D view to camera. And you'll see a new command popped into the command history. If I click the little spinner to reveal the contents, we can see that there's been a command, view3d.projectionCam, cam being short for camera. So that was the Modo command that happened under the hood when we triggered that change in the viewport. Let's change our viewport again. We'll switch it this time to perspective. And you can see down here in the command history that it has view3d.projectionPSP, PSP short for perspective. So now we know the commands that Modo is firing below the hood, and we can use them in Channel Chimp. So over here in Channel Chimp, I'm going to put in view3d.projection space cam for camera. I'm going to highlight and copy that just to save me a bit of time. I'll select the next channel, switch it to Modo command, and we'll paste it in. We'll just change the last part to PSP for perspective. Now that we have those two commands entered, as I press the buttons on the APC Mini, you can see it fires that command for us, and it switches between perspective and camera view. Many Modo commands can be triggered this way, provided that they are firing a single command. If you need to fire a sequence of commands, that's where you would use a macro or a script. Now, Modo actually has macro recording, and you can find out about that in Modo's documentation. There's a little red circle down here beside the command line where you can record macros. But an even cooler way to create more sophisticated macros is using Adam O'Hearn's replay kit available at mechanicalcolor.com, and you can find out more about that in the Channel Chimp projects page from the website. All right, I'm just going to drag to hide the command history. We don't need to see that anymore. And now over in Channel Chimp, I'm going to select the slider control, and we'll change its output type again to Modo command. And in this case, again, we're going to need a script. So from the Channel Chimp website, for the tutorials, you can download the content files for all tutorials zip file. I've already done that. And so if I go to my downloads, here it is unzipped. And inside there, you will find a scripts directory. And in the scripts directory is this setchannel.py Python script. So let's just copy that script file. And now in Modo, we'll go to the System menu and down to Open User Scripts folder. And this will take us to the location of Modo's scripts folder. And I can simply paste in that setchannel.py script. With that script ready to go, we can now put in our command in Channel Chimp. So we're going to start with the @ symbol because this is a script. That tells it we're firing a script. Setchannel.py, we know is the name of our script. And this particular script takes a couple of different parameters. So the first one is the type of channel that we want to change. So in this case, I want to change the radiance of light. So I'm going to put in radiance. And now we're going to put open braces, value, close braces, close braces. We use the double braces enclosing the word value to indicate that we want to pass Channel Chimp's channel value into this script. So now in Modo, I'm going to press the play button to get the best performance. And now I'm going to select one of my lights, and as I change the slider, we can change the brightness. Now, not a lot is happening, and that's probably because I don't have enough brightness occurring. So back in Channel Chimp, I'm going to change my maximum to something like, I don't know, let's say 20 for the maximum radiance. And now, as we slide up and down, you can see it changing the brightness of that light. I can select a different light, pull it down, push it up. We can adjust that level. Let's go to our backlight. We can pull our backlight up and down. And of course, we can switch our view. Let's switch to the perspective view. There we can see our backlight being reduced. So with this, I can balance my lights. So that's great. Now, it's important to note that unlike normal Channel Chimp connections, by using a script, we're simply changing the value directly in Modo's interface using the controller rather than Modo's standard user interface of the mouse and keyboard. So what that means is, for this light, for example, I could come in here and we could still change this radiant intensity directly using the mouse. The radiant intensity of the light doesn't have a one-to-one connection to the channels in Channel Chimp, and they're not being exclusively controlled by Channel Chimp, unlike if you use a normal Chimp ID. Also, unlike normal Channel Chimp ID type connections, these changes cannot be recorded as performances for playback or for sending keys to Modo. So if you want to record a performance and you want to send keys for something, you need to use a standard Channel Chimp ID type of connection, not a Modo command with a script. But this method illustrates that scripts and commands in Modo can receive values from Channel Chimp, enabling a wide variety of input devices to take control of virtually any aspect of Modo.